Hey there, welcome to Livewire. I'm your host, Luke Burbank. We have a very special show in store for you this week. We are celebrating our 20th anniversary this year, which is pretty amazing. And we're going to listen back to some of our favorite moments from those 20 years, including interviewing future music stars in hotel rooms and also cat rappers, which, by the way, is a person who raps about cats. Firstly, we're going to talk to Charley Crockett, who joined us in a hotel room in Austin, Texas some years ago. And he was an absolute delight. He's very famous now, but we knew him back when. Then, Livewire's original host, Courtenay Hameister, is going to interview me, the current host of the show, and remind me that I like asking the questions, not having the questions asked of me. Then we will hear from the aforementioned Moshow the Cat, who raps about cats. This is a show 20 years in the making, so we hope you'll stick around for it. It all gets started right after this.
I'm Alex Schwartz.
I'm Nomi Fry.
I'm Vincent Cunningham, and this is Critics at Large, a New Yorker podcast for the culturally curious.
Each week, we're going to talk about a big idea that's showing up across the cultural landscape, and we'll trace it through all the mediums we love. Books, movies, television, music, art.
And I always want to talk about celebrity gossip, too.
Of course.
We hope you'll join us for new episodes each Thursday. Follow Critics at Large today, wherever you get podcasts.
Hey there, Elena.
Hey, Luke, happy anniversary.
You as well. What do we get for the 20th? Is that, what?
Is that silver? I don't think we get anything because neither of us have been here for 20 years. So
I know what it is.
What is it?
It's station location identification anniversary. At 20 years, you ask your co-host to try to figure out a place in the country where Livewire is on the radio with some hints. Are you ready to play?
Yes.
All right. This city is one of only 4 American cities to have an extinct volcano within its city limits.
An extinct volcano. Well, that could be anywhere.
Well, it could be one of 4 American cities, I believe, technically.
City. Okay, so it's city, so it's pretty big.
All right, how about this? This city is a very charming place. You've even been here, Elena, this city, and they have a lot of obscure laws on the books, including, apparently, a law that says it is unlawful to have your shoes untied while walking on the street.
Well, I hope that's not true because I think every city I've been in, my shoes have been untied at least once. Is it Seattle?
South of Seattle, north of San Francisco, a place where we are often doing the radio show.
Is it the home base of Livewire, Portland, Oregon?
That's right, Portland, Oregon, where we are available on Oregon Public Broadcasting. I didn't know this. They were flipping a coin to come up with the name of Portland. It was either going to be Boston or Portland.
Or Birmingham.
So it was a 3-sided coin.
Yeah, they wanted to name it after a city that was already successful.
All right, Elena, you ready to do the show?
Let's do it.
All right, take it away.
From PRX, it's... This week, humorist and former Livewire host Courtenay Hameister.
Have you ever walked off stage and been like, and that was too much? That was too much.
With music from Charley Crockett.
If I could get a few Susan B. Anthony dollars, $7, $8 worth, then I wouldn't be stealing from the grocery store,
Moshow the Cat Rapper.
I knew I loved cat ladies. I knew I represented peace and positivity. And I also knew that I loved cats. So I figured, why not rap about the things that I actually live?
I'm your announcer, Elena Passarello. And now, the current host of Livewire, Luke Burbank.
Thank you so much, Elena Passarello. Thanks to everyone tuning in from all over the country. We are celebrating 20 years of Livewire, meaning we're going to celebrate by breaking our normal format and doing things a little bit differently on the show this week. We have some incredible guests that we want to bring you and some great memories of 20 years of doing this program. That's a lot of shows, Elena. I was talking to our executive producer, Laura Haddon, about some of the most memorable moments from the show, and there are a lot to pick from.
Yeah, we're lucky that we work at such a memorable place.
I'll tell you, I never know how the interviews are going to go. I think that's the one takeaway I have from doing this for as many years. I've been here like about 10 of the years or so, and it's like I always go into an interview with some sort of an idea of how it's going to go, and it never goes exactly the way that I expect it to go, which you think I would have figured out by now.
How do you navigate that? Do you just always leave space for surprise in what you've planned?
I'm often confused on stage, is really what it comes down to. But that keeps it fun, right?
That's
like,
right.
How lucky are we that we get to have this job where we get to talk to all of these interesting people, and we meet folks at all different phases of their careers. Like this guy that we're about to hear from, Charley Crockett. It's kind of an amazing story. He has become this country music phenomenon, but we met him kind of earlier on in his career, at least. He was still not so famous that he wouldn't come on Livewire. He's a singer-songwriter from Texas. He started his career actually jumping trains and singing on the streets of New Orleans. He busked in New York City on the subway. Eventually, he was picked up by Sony Records. He's now got 14 studio albums to his name, including his latest, It's $10 Cowboy. This is an interview that we did with Charley Crockett, and this was in all the 20 years of doing Livewire, this was a truly unique show. Here's what happened. Okay, we were at a public radio conference in Austin, Texas, and what we had learned over the years of going to these public radio conferences and doing the show is that sometimes it was hard to get the bosses of these public radio stations to get on a bus and go to a theater somewhere and watch us do the show. So we figured this year, we'll just bring the show to them. So we rented out the largest hotel room they had at the Westin, I believe, in Austin, Texas. And we just had a show. And our house band for this particular episode was Charley Crockett and his band. And we had to move a chandelier because it was blocking everyone's view. We did not get permission. Anyway, so this is Charley Crockett, the now famous Charley Crockett, recorded at a hotel room in Austin, Texas. Take a listen.
Thank you very much, brother.
Charley, is this the weirdest place that you've ever played a show?
Oh, no, not by a long way, man. Yeah.
What's the weirdest place you've ever played a show?
Well, I mean, I did it on street corners for a long time. That can be pretty weird.
Because you kind of got your start busking, and I believe in down in Louisiana, among other places. Did you play in New Orleans?
Yeah, New Orleans is really where it all kind of started for me. I'm from South Texas. I was born down in the valley in a town called San Benito. We lived up in Dallas for a time when I was younger, and then I started living in New Orleans with my uncle. And that's when I started hanging out around street performers in the French Quarter there, you know.
What are you looking for in a good corner if you're looking to busk?
Well, when I first started out, if I'm going to be honest, I was afraid. So I was playing in the park, you know, where I wasn't bothering people, just so I could play. And
that's why we do this show in a hotel room. We want it as off the radar as possible.
My man, that's good. I was looking for a place that I could be that nobody was going to bother me to play.
Okay.
Really, that's what I was doing. And then somebody, threw some coins in my case. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm getting paid to practice. And I remember I moved under this bridge, and the bridge was sending out the amplification further, and I started making a little bit more money. If I could get a few Susan B. Anthony dollars, $7, $8 worth, then I wouldn't be stealing from the grocery store, So I figured that was all right.
Every time I get a Susan B. Anthony, it's like the best part of my day. I feel like that should be a more popular thing than it is.
It should be a slang term.
They got
too.
kind of right.
Like all about the Benjamins should be like
all about the Anthonys.
Yeah.
We used to call them, they have Sacagawea on there, and they'd be those golden dollars. That was it was coveted, to get those tips.
Did you have any moments when you were kind of coming up, particularly when you're just playing out, in a park or something, where you thought this is not working out?
Yeah, I did. Well, I wasn't, I wanted to get in front of more people, so I remember. When I was up there in New York City, for example, I was playing in Central Park and Washington Square and all that. But the cops started messing with me, and I realized that you really can't legally play above ground almost anywhere where there's residents. And so I started playing on the subway platforms. And at first I was on the empty platforms. And as I got more confident, I started moving to the ones that were busier, And I figured out real quick, if I could reach 100 unique people at the same club 30 nights in a row, I mean, every night of the week, get 100 people in there to see me by myself, and 100 different people every night. That's 3,000 people. Man, I was reaching that many people in an hour on the Metropolitan stop on the G train, And I had never gotten a real gig, I didn't have no gear.
Right. Well, now you have a real gig, and you guys have been playing all over and in Europe and all around the U.S., and lots of people showing up for your shows. When did you sort of have that moment? I mean, other than right now in this hotel room, obviously. When did you have that moment of realizing, oh, wow, this is really starting to happen. This is coming together?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of times. I mean, I bummed around and hitchhiked for a long time and rode trains and stuff like that. And we've been running around in vans and RVs and stuff this last couple of years. But we just recently were over in Europe. We got dropped off in a van to go over there. And then we came back. That was from Chicago. And we came back 2 weeks later, landed in L.A. and got picked up by a bus. And that really hit me hard because
like a tour bus, a legit tour bus.
Yeah, it's an old tour bus, and believe me, it got some problems. But
well, is it true? One of you guys mentioned when we were sound checking that these buses are, even if they're an old one, they're fairly modern, and that they don't want the driver being too tired and therefore unsafe. So it's got a system where it doesn't let the driver drive more than a certain amount every day. Yeah. You guys rolled up here with 10 minutes on the driver.
Yeah, that's right. So we was hoping that you could talk to the hotel about letting us stay overnight.
Yeah. Well, we got this whole room that is going to be empty here in about 30 more minutes. So I liked it if the hotel were 10 minutes further away, you guys wouldn't have been able to make it.
No.
And you're going to play a song for us now. Charlie, what are you guys going to play?
I figure the first one we'll do here is it's the lead-off track to my brand new album that we put out in April called Lonesome as a Shadow. This number here is I Wanna Cry. You ready, boys?
All right, this is Charley Crockett on Livewire.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. She was headed down to Texas. It's the land that I love. It's the only place I'm ever thinking of. I wanna cry, darling. Ooh, I wanna cry and cry and cry for you, darling. Them 5 white cranes were falling as the sun gone down. Ain't it such a pretty color on this lonesome town? Said I wanna cry, darling. Ooh, I wanna cry and cry for you, darling. Down in Port Arthur, I was with myself then. It done gave me the feeling about to do me in. Yes, I wanna cry, darling. Ooh, I wanna cry. There she goes. Yeah.
That's Charley Crockett. This is Livewire from PRX. I'm Luke Burbank. We are celebrating the 20th anniversary of our show this week by listening back to a conversation with now country superstar Charley Crockett. We got to take a very quick break, but when we come back, we are going to hear from someone who's usually doing the question asking on this show, me. I'm going to be interviewed by the former host of this show, looking back on the 20 years of doing this. In a moment here on Livewire. Welcome back to Livewire. I'm your host, Luke Burbank, here with my friend Elena Passarello. We are celebrating 20 years of the program on this week's show by highlighting some of our most memorable moments from our very own archives. And it turns out they are vast. You do this for 20 years, you really build up a catalog of programs. And our next guest was a big part of the early part of this show. Her name is Courtenay Hameister. She was the host and head writer of this program for many years before leaving to become a beloved author. By the way, her book, Okay, Fine, Whatever, was a semifinalist for the Thurber Prize for American Humor, which is a very big deal. A little backstory on this interview. Now, you know this story well, Elena, but some people may not, so humor me. Long ago, I was scheduled to be a guest on Livewire. So I was going to come down to Portland, and I was just going to be on the show to be entertaining for 5 to 10 minutes. And on the day that I was supposed to be a guest, it turns out Courtenay, the real host, was under the weather. And so they asked me if I could fill in and actually guest host the show. And I just kind of never stopped. What that means is Courtenay never got to do the interview with me that was planned for that episode of the show. So we figured it would be kind of fun to take things full circle and actually do that interview that never was as a way of celebrating our 20th anniversary. So take a listen to this. It's me being interviewed by the former host of the show, Courtenay Hameister, at Revolution Hall in Portland, Oregon.
Welcome to the show, Luke.
This is the most nervous that I've been on the show, without a doubt.
Really? Are you?
Absolutely.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious.
So I want to paint the picture of Luke's first show briefly for those of you who don't know it. So he was supposed to be a guest on the show. He was living in Seattle. So he's driving to Portland from Seattle, and he is massively hungover. And he sees that he has a million missed calls from Robin Tenenbaum, who's our producer.
Yeah.
And he ends up saying yes to hosting 2 shows that night. We used to do 2 shows in one night. Including writing 2 opening monologues. And I just want to play, and I don't know if you've listened to this, but I want to play you a clip of Luke's very first moments on Livewire 11 years ago.
As you may have already noticed, I am not Courtenay Hameister. I am Luke Burbank. I'm sort of a last-minute fill-in, which is bad news for you guys, but kind of great news for me because one of the items on my bucket list is to see an entire theater of people look disappointed simultaneously. Just scratch that right off the list. Pinch hitting can be a little challenging, so I figured I'd turn to the wisdom of the best pinch hitter in the history of Major League Baseball, which it turns out is a guy named William Gates Brown. He played for the Detroit Tigers back in the 1960s and 70s. He was actually doing time for burglary in 1959, and he joined the prison baseball team, and he was so good that the coach of the prison team called the Detroit Tigers, and they got him paroled 1 year early so that he could play baseball.
So I don't know if you remember this, Luke, and I had never listened to the show. I just listened to the first show like last week, and I was blown away. That monologue that you just started was poignant. You brought it all together. So it was first about pinch hitting baseball, and then it was about having a family and having a kid, young. And you had this great analogy. Do you remember the analogy of children being a Ponzi scheme? Where you put all of this love into them thinking you're going to get it back, and you get one call from college when they need money.
Oh, yeah. I did have... I had a phase where I was describing children as emotional Ponzi schemes until my daughter asked me to stop doing that on the radio.
No. I completely get that, but I have to say, I actually asked Robin Tenenbaum, who was the producer at the time, had it been me, I would have just been this guy, let's just keep this guy. I ended up stepping down, but you were extraordinary on that show. You listen to it and you just know this is a natural. And what was interesting was the man that you were talking about, this pinch hitter, ended up being the greatest pinch hitter in baseball history. And I find it really interesting, right, that 10 years later, you have done this exceptional job,
Well,
on
thank
the show.
you. Thank you.
I want to talk about your headspace on that day.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously I'm more terrified than you are, but were you just apoplectic? Like, or
this sounds like I'm being glib. I think the hangover helped. Because if you've ever been like what I would describe as a fighting for your life hangover,
yeah,
it really clarifies things. Like you just staying upright, making sounds into the microphone felt like a win.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And I really mean that. I think if I would have had more time to prepare, if I would have had a whole week, if I would have had like what would have been a reasonable amount of time to read the books and sort of get prepared for this in the proper way, I probably would have felt a lot more nervous. But it was actually a very, very lucky thing for me because I was able to just say to the audience, look, I wasn't supposed to be here as the host, and I'm going to do my best, but just let's all try to get through this. Yeah. And the bar was so low in terms of their expectation for what I could do that it was almost impossible for me to not succeed. And so I benefited from that. And I have been working for the last 11 years to get the bar back down there. Because as it creeps up, I then continue to underwhelm.
Yeah.
That was the sweet spot for me.
Yeah. Somehow, how did I miss that you were raised at Lighthouse Ranch, which is an evangelical Christian commune in Humboldt County? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I mean, that's one of my 4 stories, and I'm shocked that in all of our knowing of each other, it didn't just come out at some point. My mom and dad met at this evangelical Christian commune in Eureka, California, called Gospel Outreach Christian Fellowship. And there was this old, it had been a Coast Guard station that was out in Table Bluff, which is out kind of on the ocean, and that had been turned into something called the Lighthouse Ranch. And the brothers, as they were called, would go and work for the U.S. Forest Service and do tree thinning and tree planting, and all the money would go back to the church. And then the sisters would take care of the commune and just grow food and do different things. And my mom and my dad met there. Now, my mom already had me. She got pregnant with me in Philly, realized that was not a good idea to be out there, and came out to this commune with me in the oven. I didn't realize till I was probably 4 or 5 that my dad wasn't my biological father. It just hadn't come up. It wasn't a secret, but one day I was looking at their wedding album and I saw photos of myself at the wedding. Which from a timeline standpoint was not lining up.
If you've taken a math class.
Yes. But my mom and dad met there and fell in love, and we lived there until I was, maybe 5 or 6, and then they moved up to Seattle this church was very much about spreading the gospel, and so we ended up in Seattle and stayed in that religious movement, which has been I think I'm only realizing in kind of like this phase of my life really what an impact it had on me.
Yeah.
I think there was 2 things that I used to really sort of be proud of. One was that I wasn't concerned about the fact that I had never met my biological father. And I think I was kind of proud of that. I was like, I'm totally not affected by that detail of my life.
Yeah.
And the other was, I'm fine with the fact that every night that I went to bed, I thought the moon was going to turn into blood. And all of the Christians were going to be raptured up, and I was probably going to be left behind because I stole money out of the lunchbox at Daniel Bagley Elementary School, and I have not admitted this yet.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very literal interpretation of the Bible, and I was talking to my mom about this the other day, and my mom texted me out of the blue a couple weeks ago to say, I'm sorry that I didn't let you watch Scooby-Doo when you were a kid. I was recently watching it, and it's pretty funny. This was 2 weeks ago. And so I called her and we talked about it. And I said, Mom, I promise you, Scooby-Doo was the least of my worries at that point. You probably shouldn't have told a young, impressionable child that we were in the end times. And that we were about to go through a tribulation. That was looming much larger in my mind than whether or not I could watch the Mystery Machine do its thing.
It was a little satanic. I mean, there were ghosts and.
That was exactly why I wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
It turned out because the ghosts were considered to be occult or satanic.
Yeah. Do you, you reveal a lot about yourself. Have you ever walked off stage, and I say this as a person who has done this, and been like, and that was too much. That was too much. That was too much. I crossed the line. They're not with me anymore.
If what I overshared got a good reaction, I'm fine with it.
Right.
And if it got a bad reaction, then I'm not fine with it.
Right.
Like, that's how deep still my kind of need for approval. That's how deep that well is like, if I were to, say something that would be embarrassing or maybe sharing too much and the place fell apart, everybody loved it, I would be like, did it again, Burbank. I would have no thought about was that appropriate or not. But if it bombed, then I would be like, that was probably a bad idea.
I mean, it's interesting because I think I know a lot of comics, and some of their family members are never talk about me. And other families are, if it gets a laugh, say whatever you want. Like, say I'm a prostitute. It doesn't matter. Like, I just want you to get a laugh,
Yeah.
But yeah, not all family members.
My mom, who is a prostitute, has asked me to never talk about her on the show again. But see, it got a laugh.
Right?
So, here's the thing. I grew up a very, very embarrassed, self-conscious kid. I think it was because of the religious thing, and we would be at the Burgermaster at Northgate Mall praying before dinner and holding hands, and I never had the right clothes. I've told this story many times, but we got all our clothes secondhand, and I got these jeans in 7th grade that I thought were pretty dope. And I didn't realize that stirrup jeans were not, at that time, gendered for boys. And I rolled into North Seattle Christian in these stirrup jeans.
Yeah.
And became the guy who wore stirrup jeans for 6 more years. I grew up with a kind of a deep sense of embarrassment, and all I could do with that at some point was either start talking about it, or I sort of couldn't contain it. And what I learned when I started sharing my my embarrassment and the things that I've done that have not turned out great, etc., is that people seem to relate to that. And I got very lucky that Livewire is a show that is okay with that. And do you know? I don't know if you remember this part. The first show that I ever hosted, when I filled in for you. And this, by the way, is a classic Livewire move. I still had to do the interview with myself. It's absolutely true.
I thought that was something you pitched as a bit. No?
It was we need 7 more minutes of show. Do you remember when a deranged Clint Eastwood brought a chair out at the Oscars? Literally, that was the segment. I interviewed myself. I think there literally might have been 2 chairs out there. But I have been so fortunate working on Livewire that there is a place for, you and I were talking about this before the show, but the idea of using the personal to connect to the universal, right? The things that happen to all of us in our lives that feel very we're the only person dealing with this, or we're the only person who's had this thought, or we're the only person who's messed up a relationship in this particular way. I think when we share those things with each other, we realize how universal the human experience is. And this is a show that gets to explore that. And I feel really grateful that I've gotten to be here doing that.
Yeah. Well, the audience is too. So we want to actually play a game with you. Okay. You always play games with the guests. So
yes.
We wanted to do a game.
Okay.
So in the 11 years that you've hosted the program, people have said lots of wild stuff, right? But do you know who said most of the wild things, Luke?
Me?
You. You have. So we thought we'd do a quiz, and it's this game we're calling What Did You Say That For? So okay. We're going to play a piece of audio of you on Livewire, and you're going to have to describe it to us what was happening on stage that made you say it, okay?
Okay.
So let's play clip number 1.
Why are you so handsome? What's going on with that? I feel like I just got lost in your eyes for a minute, which is not what this is necessarily supposed to be about. That's my pep talk I give myself before every show.
That is a much better answer than the right answer.
As I'm pulling my stirrup jeans on. Is that John Craigie?
It is John Craigie, yeah.
Yes, the musician John Craigie, who's a great musician, and also I don't know if we talk about things these ways, but a very, very handsome feller as well.
He really, I mean, it's funny. I listened to his voice and I had imagined like an old prospector.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks like a soap opera actor.
Yes.
All right, let's play clip 2.
I think I have torsion inside my suit, in my prives.
Don't remember why you used the term prives?
Torsion in my prives. That air on public radio stations around the country?
I think it did.
Was I on an exercise bike?
Yes, you were.
That was a show where, for some reason, an episode where we had the guests riding exercise bikes on the stage. Maybe this very stage, in fact.
Yeah, I think it was. It was Rob Hubel, Paul Scheer, and you had to take a quiz while riding on exercise bikes. And apparently you were very sick that night. It's not funny.
Probably.
You were sick.
Those seats are not very comfortable to be on. But I also think prives is actually a pretty good way to describe that.
Yeah.
You kind of, as the listener, you know what I'm talking about, but also it's, not like overly crude.
And also, breves are sweeping the niche.
They sure are.
Yeah. That's not my line. Okay, let's play number 3.
And if you want love, we'll make it. Swim in a deep sea of blankets. Take all your big plans and break them. This is bound to be a while.
That was when I was writing Your Body is a Wonderland with John Mayer.
That was actually, it was mayor versus mayor on mayor. We had the mayors of St. Paul and Minneapolis face off in a quiz testing their knowledge about John Mayer.
That was
a Jason Rouse quiz. It had to have been, right?
It was.
Jason Rouse probably wrote that.
Such a good bit. It worked. We were at the Fitzgerald Theater in St. Paul, Minnesota, and who knew that the mayors of Minneapolis and St. Paul were such hams? They loved it. Yeah, they played along, and that was, mayor versus mayor on mayor.
Yes.
A segment you would literally only hear on Livewire.
Yep. Yeah, we also did Franks with Frank and Frank, which was Barney Frank eating Franks with another Frank. Yeah.
I don't know if we've had a guest who seemed less pleased when they realized what show they'd actually signed up to be on than Congressman Barney Frank.
I would agree with that. All right, let's play clip number 4.
Okay. Did you guys just fucking fall in love? Oh, yes. Okay. This is a great moment in Livewire history. And Courtenay, this was really your brainchild. Why don't you describe what the New York Times thing was that set this up?
So in the New York Times, I think that it was in 2015 maybe, Mandy Lynn Catrone wrote an article called 36 Questions to Make You Fall in Love with Anyone. And it was a doctor who had found these questions with increasing intimacy that would make anyone fall in love with another person. It took about 3 hours to do the questions. So we had 2 people come to the show. We started them off doing the questions. You spoke to them at the beginning, you spoke to them at the end, and
I think we actually even checked in the middle.
Did we?
So it was Jed and Katie, and they really were single, and they really did the exercise. I believe you were single at the time, and this was living right near the tip of your brain.
Exactly.
This whole topic.
I was obsessed with it.
And it was such a genius idea because we had them, sort of do some part of the process, and then they came out and they said how it was going, and then they went back in, and then they got to the part where they stare into each other's eyes for 4 minutes.
That's part of the process.
And when they came out of that back room, they were legitimately falling in love.
It was so obvious to everyone in the theater.
It was like a cartoon where like a scandalous skunk is putting a potion on a cat to make her fall in love with him. It was palpable on stage, the feeling of like these two, and they dated for like 2 years.
Yeah, they live together.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're married to other people now, but they're very good friends. Right.
We could have left that part out.
Yeah.
But they're friends. That's the thing.
Right. All right. Let's do number 5. Just go
Man emoji. Question mark emoji. Man emoji. Equal sign emoji. Plus sign emoji. Astronaut emoji. Police emoji. Groom emoji. Lightning bolt emoji.
You know, I don't know what you...
I have the answer and I'm confused.
Yeah,
So wait, I'm listing. I don't. That sounds like a thing you'd remember doing at your job.
Well,
but I don't actually remember that.
I think you blocked it out because
okay.
evidently it was a huge failure.
Oh, okay. I usually remember those.
You had decided to translate lines of Salman Rushdie's books into emojis and have him guess what they were.
That was
in 2017.
That was Man Booker Prize award-winning international treasure Salman Rushdie listening to me read like eggplant emoji, peach.
That is how you debased him, yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Super classy. One more. We've just got one more, and I think this one's pretty easy. Let's play number 6.
I am shocked they're letting me host this show. I don't know what that is, but that person sounds unhinged.
But you had a good reason. Does that help you remember what it was? You were in pain.
I was in pain. So we were doing some sort of physical thing on stage? I was in emotional pain?
No, well,
I mean, that's just
constant.
That's a low frequency situation for me.
It's just a low buzz all the time.
Yeah.
It was in Phoenix in 2016.
Oh, yes. We did the show at a public radio conference, and that happened to be in Phoenix, and we were trying to think of something to connect with the local, I don't know, culture, and we thought it's a lot of spicy pepper eating down here.
Yeah.
And we got a guy to bring us like the hottest by Scoville unit peppers that even exist. Have you noticed, by the way, that, and thankfully this was not quite the case when we did this, if you look at the hot sauce section now, the names are ridiculous. It's always like, Clem's butt pucker, grab your junk sauce.
Did you just come up with that, right?
Yeah.
See, this is why.
But you know what I mean?
This is why you host this show.
But you know what I mean?
Clem's butt pucker.
It's a real race to the bottom in terms, so to speak.
Luke, honestly, like
of those things. But we ate. What happened was I ate this really hot, spicy pepper. But a couple of them, I think. The problem was, this was at the beginning of the program, and there was a lot of hosting to be done after I had ingested this. And it's the kind of thing that seems like in the writers' meeting, and it seems like a fun idea until you're on stage.
Yeah.
You know, starting to sort of hemorrhage from various parts of your body.
Yeah. Well, you did, I think, pretty poorly on the quiz.
Yeah.
I wasn't keeping track.
No, that was awful.
I think you did pretty poorly, but I will say you've done exceptionally well on the show for the
Thank
last
you.
11 years.
Thank
and
you.
I honestly, I cannot imagine a better person to have taken the reins of this show. I'm grateful and honored that you brought me back, and I'm grateful to have you as a friend, and thank you.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. Luke Burbank, everybody.
Courtenay Hameister, everyone. That was my pal and the longtime Livewire host before I got the gig, Courtenay Hameister. Courtenay is, of course, the writer of so many amazing things, including the book, Okay, Fine, Whatever, which is available now. And I just want to mention, we would not be here celebrating 20 years of Livewire without Courtney's contribution. So thanks so much, Court. This is Livewire from PRX. I'm Luke Burbank, current host of the program, here with Elena Passarello. We've got to take a very quick break, but don't go anywhere. We are celebrating 20 years of Livewire this week. When we come back, we've got the musical stylings of, I would say, the best cat rapper in the business, hands down, Moshow.
I mean, I'm going to try to give him a run for his money one day when I can think of more than 4 things to rhyme with cat. But,
words that rhyme with tabby.
Crabby.
All right, Moshow the Cat Rapper coming up in a moment here on Livewire. Livewire is thrilled to be partnering with Portland's own Portal Tea this season, formerly known as Tea Chai Tay. Portal Tea is the premier tea company in the Pacific Northwest, and they make one-of-a-kind, handcrafted tea blends like cinnamon churro chai and blueberry cream Earl Grey. Use the code LIVEWIRE, all lowercase, for 20% off at portaltea.co. Welcome back to Livewire from PRX. I'm Luke Burbank here with Elena Passarello. We are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Livewire this week on the show by highlighting some of our favorite moments that have occurred. Now, a paper in Portland, the Willamette Week, asked me to list some of the most memorable moments in Livewire's history, at least during the period that I was around. And I have to say, Moshow the Cat Rapper jumped right to the top of my mind. He is somebody who loves cats. He loves rapping about them. And this is the kind of radio show where if you were a cat rapper, we have a place for you.
Yeah, that's right. I remember when I first saw him on the scene, he was taking a bath with his cat, DJ Ravioli. And I didn't even know that he lived in Portland. And I thought, gosh, wouldn't that be amazing one day to actually be able to meet this wonderful cat rapper? And lo and behold, he lives in Portland. And we got to have him on the show.
Really, it's a collaboration, Elena, between Moshow and his cats over the years. He's been involved in animal advocacy projects and has written several children's books, including A New Catitude, an illustrated guide to getting through tough times. Take a listen to Moshow the Cat Rapper, also known as Dwayne Moloch, who joined us on stage back in 2018 to perform his song entitled Don't Declaw Your Cat. Dwayne, welcome to Livewire.
Yeah. What up?
Hey, man, so you have 200,000 followers on Instagram.
Yes.
You're a rapper here in Portland.
Yes.
And you rap primarily about cats.
My love for cat ladies and cats. Yes, I do.
We have a cat lady who loves you on the staff, Elena Passarello, our announcer. When the email went around that you were going to be on the show, Moshow, Elena was ecstatic.
Yeah, there are a lot of exclamation points.
We understand each other.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
How did you start rapping about cats?
Well, for me, it was always about living my truth. I did know that I've never been a hardcore guy. I've always been a lover and stuff like that. So I knew 2 things. I knew I loved cat ladies. I knew I represented peace and positivity. And I also knew that I love cats, so I figured, why not rap about the things that I actually live?
You live in Portland now, but you
Yes.
grew up in Baltimore, if I understand. Did you
Yeah.
have cats around as a kid?
No, I did not grow up with any animals, so I never knew what I was missing. So long story short, when I went to college, I met a very cool cat lady who was into the same music I was into. And from there, we started hanging out. I started going to her house on the weekends to study, and she had a black cat named Queenie who would watch me study. And as the months went on, she would get closer and closer, and then one thing I know, she was in my lap at month 3, and cat fever just took over.
You have 5 cats now.
Yes, I do. I got 5 cats. DJ Ravioli, Queen Sushi, the Mighty Mega Man, Black Savage, and Tally the Lover.
Did those names did they just appear to you when you saw the cats? That was what they should be named?
Yeah, it's just the way my brain works. I see it and I'm like, that's what it is.
Yeah, you said when you saw DJ Ravioli when you were, did you get him from a shelter?
Yeah, we adopted him in Arizona.
They got him from an Olive Garden.
Yeah, we got him.
He has a sister, Unlimited, and a brother, Breadsticks.
We adopted him from a shelter in Arizona, and when I got the picture of him, I was like, "That's Ravioli. He's the DJ."
And when you look at him, I can't imagine any other name that cat having. It's not like he looks like a ravioli, but he looks like a DJ ravioli.
Yeah, he's DJ. He handles all the beats, and he's my hype man.
What is life like with 5 cats? That's a lot of cats.
It is always something going on. It's like a circus. There's always someone fighting or someone wanting to be pet. Someone wants to be left alone, but then you need to pet me here. Okay, now you're done with him. Now I need you to pet me over here. Come over here, Dad. Let's do that. And then fight when you go to sleep. And let me play with your feet. So it's just constant. Yeah.
We are talking to Moshow the Cat Rapper. Now, the rap game is... it's a place where image means a lot. In a lot of cases, being, tough is an important thing.
Yes.
Being intimidating, being feared. Do you get any grief from other rappers about rapping songs like Love Your Cats?
No, I think they just kind of just ignore me. But, at the end of the day, again, I can look myself in the mirror and I know for sure I'm 100% living my truth. So, cat people, cat ladies, I love you.
You're going to perform a song for us. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'm going to perform a song for you. It's called Don't Declaw Your Cat. And the reason why I created this, I had, a lot of my, I don't like to say fans, so a lot of my cat family, they like to send me messages. And one time they sent me a message of this cat who'd just been declawed. And pretty much when you declaw a cat, you're cutting off half of the fingertips. And he was swinging in the cage, and you could tell by every time he just went to lean on his front paws, he was like screaming in pain. Oh. And it really just got me riled up, and it just destroyed me. And that's why I created Don't Declaw Your Cats, to educate people, because when you don't declaw your cats, the claws help them balance, the claws help them stretch, the claws help them mentally and physically the best. So I wanted to explain to people that, is it really worth saving, your new furniture just because you want to, declaw your cat? I mean, they shred all of my furniture. I don't really care. I just care about the safety of my cat. So I want to educate people on not declawing.
All right. This is Moshow the Cat Rapper,
so
our new fascinating friend on Livewire.
Yeah, so check this out, everybody. We're going to turn up in here. We need some audience participation. So check this out. I say don't declaw your cat. So let me hear you say, cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. Hit it. Y'all ready? We're going to get loud up in here. We're going to tear this roof down. Portland, where you at? Make some noise. Okay, cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. Hit it. Cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. I got it. Cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. Look, all the cat gang pulling up on y'all. Look, cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. Hit it. Cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. I got it. Cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. Look, all the cat gang. Check me out. Look. Okay, way up in the field, though. Moshow, I'm for real, though. Heard you about the declaw, nah, I don't feel, though. Feel it in your soul, cutting off fingers, you so cold. Yeah, you talking, you love your cats, but I think that you should know. The claws help them balance, the claws help them stretch, the claws help them mentally and physically the best. I am Moshow, here to put it all to the test. The cat ladies can sleep, cause I'm here for them to rest. Look, I'm so hot, I be burning ya. Weren't ya? About to say you did it, cause the furniture. I don't wanna hear it, let my cat, he disappear it. If my cat, he claw it up, then he can get near it. I am Moshow, I don't care about the clothes, care about my house. I just wanna know my cat is healthy, walking in and walking out. Cat ladies know what I'm talking about. I say the cat ladies know what I'm talking about. Cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. Hit it. Cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. I said cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. I got it, or the cat gang pulling. Let's get loud, okay? Cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. Hit it. Cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. I said cats need their paws, so you better not declaw. Look, or the cat gang, check me out, look. Look, I'm the cat boss. I ain't got a floss. Got 5 cats, all free, no cost. Raviolis, red like pizza. Tell the cat ladies come here, cause I need her. Got Black Savage, yeah, he's a savage. Got the cat ladies in, they are never ratchet. Got Queen Sushi, she is such a doozy. Tell you she's a doozy, follow her like Scooby. But we not the dude, man, cause we got them cats. Ravioli, yeah, yeah, where you at? And I got Tally, yeah, she's the mom. I hear her meow, cause yeah, she's the bomb. Look, I will never sell my soul, I'm just trying to let it go. Got a bunch of pain, MC, she keeps it mellow though. And I got my 5 cats, yeah, they my family. I'ma keep it real, look, they can never damage me. Yeah, look, cats need that pause, so you better not Declaw, hit it. Cats need that pause, so you better not Declaw. I got it, cats need that pause, so you better not Declaw. Or the cat's the last one, we gon' scream it loud, let's go. Cats need that pause, so you better not Declaw, hit it. Cats need that pause, so you better not Declaw. I said cats need that pause, so you better not Declaw. Look, or the cat gang pulling up on y'all. I love you guys. Yeah. We up in Portland, clear, no distortion, and everybody in this room is important.
That was the one, the only, Moshow the Cat Rapper right here on Livewire. I feel confident, Elena, we're the only public radio show in the game who can say that we have a resident cat rapper.
We are the Ed Sullivan of cat rap shows. Like we break the mold.
Really big show. I want to apologize for that terrible Ed Sullivan impersonation.
It's okay. Only people over the age of 65 are going to get it, so it's fine.
That's right. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Livewire. A very big thanks to our guests, Charley Crockett, Courtenay Hameister, and of course, Moshow the Cat Rapper.
Laura Haddon is our executive producer, Heather D. Michelle is our executive director, and our producer and editor is Melanie Sepchenko. Eben Hoffer and Molly Pettit are our technical directors, and our house sound is by D. Neil Blake. Trey Hester is our assistant editor. Rosa Garcia is our operations associate. Jackie Ibarra is our production fellow, and Becky Phillips is our intern. Our house band is Ethan Fox Tucker, Sam Tucker, A.L. Alves, and A. Walker Spring, who also composes our music. This episode was mixed by Molly Pettit and Trey Hester.
Additional funding provided by the Oregon Arts Commission, a state agency, funded by the State of Oregon and the National Endowment for the Arts. Livewire was created by Robin Tenenbaum and Kate Sokoloff. This week, we'd like to thank member Christopher Hardman of Portland, Oregon. For more information about our show or how you can listen to our podcast, head on over to livewireradio.org. I'm Luke Burbank for Elena Passarello and the whole Livewire crew. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. Wouldn't it be amazing to have a piping hot episode of Livewire delivered right to your heart and ears each week? Well, guess what? That can happen when you subscribe to the Livewire podcast feed, and you'll get the joy of surprising conversation every week. So go ahead and do it. It's super easy. You click on the button at the top of your podcast app, and bam, you are Livewire subscribed. And if you're still, feeling the love, if you're enjoying the show, hey, maybe you could hook us up and leave us a quick review. That'll help more people find out about Livewire. And thank you.